Good evening. Welcome to the April 29th Select Board meeting. The meeting will be broadcast live and recorded by Foxboro Cable Access. Stephanie McGowan is not present, so I will be acting as chair for tonight. Let's do the pledge if we can. Yep.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have anybody for citizens input? No? Nobody online?
No.
Okay. Do we have to wait on this?
Yeah, we gotta wait 5 minutes.
Okay,
Do action item.
sure. Want to go down to action items?
Accept the donation of $300 by the Sylvia and Verrochi families for the Youth Police Program.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
All right.
Vote.
Motion to approve the February 26th meeting schedule, FY 26th meeting schedule.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve Select Board meeting minutes from April 15th, 2025.
Second.
Any comments or corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0.
Would you like me to whip through my report?
Yes, well, yeah, we've got
Got about 4
another
minutes.
4 more minutes.
Okay, sure, I don't have a whole lot, so, for town manager's report, just my continuous reminder that we have an election coming up. It's actually this Monday, May 5th. A good way to spend Cinco de Mayo is to vote. And then we have a town meeting the following week on May 12th at 7 PM at the Foxborough High School's auditorium. So we're hoping that all the residents will attend. We did just record a warrant review session yesterday at noon here in this room, and Foxborough Cable Access should be broadcasting that. So we encourage folks that are going to be going to town meeting to take a look at that broadcast, because it'll tell you the background of all the articles and provide, maybe answer questions before you get to town meeting. Also, the advisory committee's recommendations are available on the website. If you go on the website under boards and committees and you go to AdCom, you'll see their recommendations under there. They have the current recommendations for this year's town meeting. Those are a great source of information because, as we all know, the AdCom spends weeks upon weeks looking at every article that comes in front of them and really drilling down into them. So highly recommend that residents take a look at the AdCom recommendations for background. Last day of the senior center is also approaching quickly. It's May 1st, and I think that's in just 2 days, isn't it? Wow. And then the grand opening for the senior center is May 16th. And as always, Walnut Knoll applications are still available. We did receive notice today, this week, that we've got a $15,000 planning grant for land use. It actually had been applied for, I would think, about a year ago, and just came through last week. Catherine and Barney will be using it to look at solar voltaic uses and our zoning around that, and also some special residential regulations in our zoning. We have some provisions that have never been used or looked at, so we're going to try to look at those and make sure we keep them up to date. Today I was at the State House, met with, well, actually I couldn't see either Senator Feeney or Rep. Chason. They were both in session, but I saw their aides, and I went to Senator Feeney's office and was able to do that. But this was a State House day for the 495 Metro West Partnership. It was great to be in the room with a bunch of fellow like-minded communities where we're all working together. So it was a great opportunity to be up at the State House. And then I have a vacation coming up. It's on May 14th, and I'll return to the office on May 27th. So just so you all know. And then from a human resources, we still have 2 openings on the personnel board. And I also know, though, Katie's getting ready to do boards and committees. So stay tuned for a new round of boards and committee announcements coming up. And the current open positions, I just checked today, and it looks like we're still looking for a program coordinator for the farmers market, program coordinator for Little Wreckers, and then a recreational instructional assistant, and the ever-present DPW water tech. Mike, is that all? Those still needed? That's it? Okay, perfect. All right, and that's all I have for tonight. And this is Dennis's last meeting. So, we can't forget to acknowledge Dennis,
Right, thank you.
but we're going to rope him back to come back and talk about me at some point in the future when we do my review.
Personnel committee, maybe.
Yep, very good. Okay, being on or about 7:05, we have application for an alteration of premises license, transfer license.
Motion to open the public hearing.
You have to read the whole thing.
The Select Board, acting as the local licensing authority pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 138, will conduct a public hearing on Tuesday, April 29th, 2025, beginning at 7:05 PM in the Gala Meeting Room, Town Hall, 40 South Street, Foxborough, Mass., on the application of an alteration of premise and transfer of license for an ongoing premises annual all alcohol beverages license from Big Tuna LLC, DBA Skipjack's, 226 Patriot Place, Foxborough, Mass., to 4K Restaurant Group LLC, DBA Stella, Patriot Place, Lillian Brando, General Manager.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call.
Oh, yeah, for a public hearing. Mark, yes.
Bill, yes?
Debbie, yes.
Dennis, yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Good evening, members of the board. Tom Miller from McDermott, Quilty, Miller and Hanley in Boston on behalf of Estella Patriot Place. Here, as was stated, for the transfer and alteration of premise for the license that's currently held by Skipjack's in the same location. I'm joined tonight by Lillian and George Brandeo, who are the owners and operators of Estella, and who will be bringing this fun concept to Patriot Place. And you all know Brian. I don't go anywhere without Brian Early. He makes everything go well for me, so I asked him to join me tonight. So, as was stated, the application here will allow Lillian and George to take over that Skipjack space and to update, renovate the space to create the ambiance and environment that matches with the concept of Estella. Estella, the name of Estella pays homage to George's mom. She inspires the concept. She has been an unwavering source of support and love and dedication to them. Has influenced this concept as well as the founding concept of the space in Boston. I think they are excited to be coming here, and I'm going to let them tell you a little bit about themselves and what drew them to Foxborough and Patriot Place.
Well, thank you all for having us here today. As was stated, my name is Lillian Brandeo, and Estella, I like to refer to her as a her because it is a living, it means a lot to us, right? And so she is in essence where we bring the community together, where anyone who walks in through the door feels as if they belong, and you can feel that whether it's the atmosphere, what you see in our menu. So we consider ourselves a international American fusion. So I was born in the States, and however, my parents were from Africa, and I feel like we were able to put all of that together in Estella, where we can get our community together and enjoy. And really what drew us to Foxborough is the ability to be able to get our local customers and as well as private corporate individuals to enjoy that space and celebrate occasions. And we're looking forward to be able to do that here.
They have a really, as you can see from the menus that are part of the packet, they have a really strong food-focused concept here, bringing that international American fusion cuisine to Foxborough. They like the family-friendly nature of Patriot Place and Foxborough in general, and are looking forward to creating an upscale environment where they can present their food and their concept and their love of both the specific concept because of its connection to George and his mother to the community in a way that will benefit everybody. They have a lot of experience in operating in a unique environment in their location in Boston. They have operated immediately adjacent to the theater district, which is, for those of you who have been to Boston to go to a show and grab a dinner beforehand, you have a time you need to be out the door, and everyone also likes to come sit at about the same time. It is a high-pressure environment, and they have operated very successfully there in creating a space that their customers love, cherish, and keep coming back to. And they are looking forward to bringing that same feel and ambiance here.
How long have you been in the Boston?
It's going on 3 years in October.
This application does include an alteration of premise as well. While they are updating the space to reflect that upscale but family-friendly environment, there are no major structural changes to the space. It's going to be a very similar space to the space the board is already aware of. They are not touching the back of the house, just updating as necessary, for equipment and the like. But they are revamping the seating area, revamping the bar area to create more of a sit-down service bar where, somebody like me on a night like tonight, after here, I can go home, go there, grab a bite to eat before I go home. Just kind of, again, related to that food focus. They also have applied to, this also includes the patio as previously approved by Skipjack's and the ABCC. There's no change to that. It's the same square footage, same space. In total, the space is just short of 8,000 square feet inside and out, with seating in total for 208. Lillian is the proposed manager of record here. As we have described, she is experienced in the industry. They've been operating Stella for 3 years, as well as other previous positions in different restaurants in and around the Boston area, as well as outside the Boston area, including both serving and managing roles. She is very experienced in the industry. She is familiar with the rules and regulations, both of the ABCC and this board, for the operation and service of alcohol. George and Lillian are excited to bring this concept to Patriot Place, to Foxborough. It will be an amenity to everyone in the area. It'll bring something that is not currently at Patriot Place, more of an international cuisine here, and they're excited. And I will let you guys now ask us whatever questions you have in deference to your time. I can keep rambling on about how much you are going to love this place once it opens, but I know you have other things on the agenda.
Dennis, do you have any?
I mean, it's a great location, so, and I do think, looking at your menu, you have things that aren't offered in general at the many locations at Patriot Place. So I wish you well. I think you will be very successful. And I think that's it, really. Welcome.
Appreciate
Thank you.
What's your target date for opening?
Hopefully as soon as possible, July, but it all depends on
your blessings.
buildings, when we get everything in order.
And construction is always
We've already been-
so predictable. So
Right, they have been under construction for quite some time, so they're
Since
pretty far
December,
along.
so
Yeah, it looks beautiful in there.
90% done, probably.
Look, good luck. That Skipjack's was sorely missed, so it'll be a nice addition to see that storefront filled, but with something new as well.
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So through the chair, so with you, will you be in the Foxborough full-time, even though you have another restaurant?
Yes.
Yeah.
Lillian's
provide-
focus is Foxborough.
It will be Foxborough.
She will be here. Yep. George is responsible for Boston.
Okay, and the typical questions we ask, everyone's going to be tip certified.
Correct.
And have you ever heard, I'm sure, you have about Fox Cares?
Yes.
And, okay,
Yeah.
but, kind of do my due diligence and make sure that I ask those questions, which is great. And personally, I've heard about oxtail, but I've never had it. I'm so excited to see it on the menu and finally give it a try
Yes.
when you guys open up.
Yes,
It
you all
won't
are welcome.
disappoint.
Okay, sounds good. Good luck. Yeah, looking forward to it.
No, I think, you've addressed most of the issues I was concerned about, so I just welcome you to the town and wish you the best.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
Motion,
Well, anyone from the
oh,
audience?
is there anybody, yes, I'm sorry, is there anybody from the audience that would like any input? Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
All in favor?
Mark, yes.
Bill, yes.
Debbie, yes.
Dennis, yes.
Motion to approve the application for an alteration of premises and transfer of license of an on-premises annual all alcohol beverage license from Big Tuna LLC, DBA Skipjack's 226 Patriot Place, Foxborough, Mass., to 4K Restaurant Group LLC, DBA Estella Patriot Place.
Second.
All in favor?
Mark, yes.
Bill, yes.
Debbie, yes.
Dennis, yes.
So one more quick question, again, probably more Katie. So down the road, a common vic license and an entertainment license, or is that all included?
That is that not next?
Oh, I didn't see it. Did I miss it? I apologize. Oh, and of course, my computer shut down. Is it next? I didn't
No,
see
it is not.
Okay.
I can add that to the next meeting. My
Okay.
apologies.
No, I just, usually we
Yeah.
put it all together. So we'll get those the next
Next meeting.
next meeting.
Yeah, 2 weeks you'll have that.
Okay.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you. Good luck. Okay. The applications.
Miller's aide fills it out, and I reminded her before I left for vacation, but I didn't get it.
Okay.
Rough hook.
Chief, you want to come up? So I guess we're going to have a little conversation on potential issues with happenings at the rally point.
Yeah, that's correct. So I'm here tonight to request that the board take a vote on having a alcohol violation hearing at another date. So what I'm going to give tonight is a summary of facts, but I won't get into people injuries, as is an ongoing criminal investigation where complaints have not processed through the hearing stage yet. I think what I disclose to you will be sufficient to take a vote. On March 22nd, the Foxborough Police received a call from Milford Police Department in regards to a party that had been injured the previous night at the Rally Point Inn. The nature of their injuries were serious. Party was hospitalized with paralysis and is still currently in the hospital. And the paralysis is still occurring, and it appears it's going to be long-term. Immediately when something like this happens, where we have serious bodily injury, an investigation happens from the start. The internal protocols for notifications to the sergeant, to the patrol, to the lieutenant, to the on-call detective were all initiated. The detective came out Saturday morning and started the investigation, talking to witnesses, and then backtracking with the staff at the rally point. A summary of where the investigation is right now is that there was an altercation the previous night, March 21st, late, before 12 o'clock. And one of the things where patrons were seen, based on the evidence collected, leaving the bar with alcohol in their hands. The bartender was also observed being notified of the incident and went outside to deal with the altercation that had already occurred and was still ongoing. There was an injured party at the time when the bartender went outside who was still lying in the parking lot. The bartender is seen, as this progresses, helping the injured party into a vehicle so they could be brought home. That is a very, very brief summary. I'm not going to get into the altercation. So what we have is violation 29. We have failure to notify the police. Anytime there's an altercation at an establishment, that's what we do. We arrive, we assist, we de-escalate. None of that occurred for the altercation in the parking lot or for the injuries to the party. Patrons were permitted to exit the premises with alcohol beverages. That is clearly in our regulations. There was failure to ensure patrons safely and properly respond to an incident, which means that the owners have an obligation within our regulations if there's an incident to keep their patrons safe. And lastly, there was inadequate supervision by their staff. Those are very brief descriptions of the violations that occurred at the hearing. We'll get into it more. So I asked the board to make a recommendation to forward the hearing, and we can start that process of making the notifications.
Obviously, we can't have detailed discussions about what the issues are, but does anybody have any basic questions that you need answered?
Well, basic, I guess, is this something where we can stop alcohol being given out in a, from this point on?
No, we have to have the hearing.
We have to have the
We
hearing
have to
first.
have the
There's no protocol to say, right now, because of what's going on, we could stop right away.
No, they're allowed,
nothing
they're
in
allowed their due process.
Okay, all right, fair
And
enough.
So town council recommended we get it on the agenda.
Okay.
So essentially, really brief overview, there was an altercation at the establishment with serious injuries to a party. The police were never called, and we found about it the day after when that person had to get transported to the hospital, and we backtracked it. Surveillance, interviews, so we have a full collection of evidence for the liquor violations. We're also proceeding on multiple different criminal charges for the people involved in the altercation, which will not be part of the hearing, et cetera.
So the police weren't contacted, the fire department, I take it was not contacted either,
No one,
paramedics?
no one was.
And you probably can't answer this, but certainly with an injury and paralysis involved in an injury, the fact that professionals weren't there to really manage the situation and manage the injuries, very dangerous.
Exactly. That's such a loaded question, but you're absolutely.
I'm not asking you to answer it, but you can.
You're right,
you can connect the
I'm not
dots.
gonna say
Right.
what could have, should have, would have, but
Right.
clearly that's exactly where you would want your paramedics there to stabilize,
Right.
something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Motion to schedule a public hearing on the Valley Point alcohol violation.
Second.
All in favor?
Yeah, aye.
Aye.
Do we have room in 2 weeks?
Well, I think we have to make room.
Yeah.
Well, do you have to advertise, you have to make sure what's the legal advertising on that, do you know?
I think we're gonna have some requirements to notifying the license holder. They're gonna have some timelines.
So it might be
Might
2
be
weeks
longer
or it
than
might
2
be a
weeks,
month.
or are we looking to try to get it on our next agenda?
It's, what's the date for the next?
May 13th?
May 13th.
We can try, we can always postpone.
Okay.
Like, whatever's easier for the board.
Public safety, let's try.
I don't think you need to set a hearing now, because it's not a continuation, so I think we'll try for, probably the sooner the better.
Yeah, exactly.
But assuming we can meet all the
Meet all the
requirements.
requirements.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Chief. Mike, would you like to come up? Next agenda item is the FY '26 Foxborough non-union managerial and part-time seasonal pay plan.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I have proposed before the board tonight the FY '26 non-union managerial pay plan. It includes the following proposed updates. Number one, first of all, it proposes a cost of living adjustment to COLA, of 3%. To FY '25 hourly rates for non-union managerial employees. The COLA is consistent with the FY '26 increases adopted in most of the town's collective bargaining agreements to date. The proposed non-union managerial pay plan also includes a proposed restructuring of the current community response social worker role, into a director into a Director of Clinical Services role and as well as a Community Substance Use Coordinator position in the non-union pay plan as well. The proposed Director of Clinical Services role is proposed for a grade 8 in the non-union pay plan, where the Community Substance Use Coordinator role is proposed to be placed at a grade 6. The community response social worker position as it exists now is currently classified as a grade 5 in the Steelworkers Unit B pay plan. And that's, as I mentioned, proposed to be restructured into a grade 8. And the update really reflects, first of all, the growing the growing challenges and complexities involved in the role of this. A community response social worker is responding together with fire and police to emergencies and calls in the field. The need is there, the value is there, and frankly, the challenges are there as well. Additionally, additionally, based on the proposed hiring of a community substance use coordinator role, which would be funded by the town, which would be funded through the town's opioid settlement funds. The proposed Director of Clinical Services would then supervise the substance use coordinator role. So, even having all things equal, having the current structure of the role, then introduce a supervision component to that, would require changes. And, really, as I mentioned, based on the current complexities, the challenges, and the need, and really what the town and our public safety has experienced, really gave rise to the restructuring, and to really, I'll put in true practice a way and a method to reflect to what we as a community are facing in the field, and especially what that role is actually facing in the field as well. So, and then I just want to go back to the agenda. So, and with regards to the proposed part-time seasonal pay plan, there are many components of that plan that haven't been updated since FY23. In the update proposed for 26, actually with regards to the recreational positions in the DPW, seasonal positions that are included, the personnel board actually approved those proposed increases back in March. To be very honest with everyone, I wasn't aware at that point that we needed double approvals. Otherwise, I would have brought that pay plan to the board in the same evening. I think March 4th that I brought it to the personnel board. But other than that, there is in the part-time seasonal plan, a few adjustments, a few proposed adjustments based on updates to the minimum wage, updates just in terms of where the market is. 3 years later, nothing really significant or substantial at all. Happy to take any questions on any of that.
The longevity change is strictly based on bringing it in line with other.
Yes, that. I'm sorry, that. That's actually listed as the next item in the agenda. I can actually, I'll go into that as well. But the proposed $25 a year longevity increase would be adjusted. Would be adjusted in the current non-union longevity scale for employees who are here from years 5 through 20 with uninterrupted service as well. And it models really, because we like to have alignment when possible with our other employee groups. It models where we ended up with in bargaining with our ASME units and also with our library union as well.
Thanks, Mike. Dennis, any questions?
Now, maybe just a comment. This is the non-union managerial pay plan, and I see the cost of living adjustment is
3%.
3%.
Yes.
Which is comparable to the 3 or 2.5% that the collective bargaining units received.
Yes,
I'd
sir.
like to point out, though, that this particular unit, this group of people, they do not get steps in addition to that COLA.
They do.
They get steps?
Yeah, yes. Yes, it's included in the pay plan.
Okay.
Yes.
How many steps?
There's a total of 11. Like with like a 50-year step list. So really like it maxes out, like it maxes out at 10 with a 15-year step.
Okay.
You all set?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Motion.
Motion to approve the FY26 Foxborough non-union managerial and part-time seasonal pay plan.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? 4-0. Longevity, you pretty much explained that one already.
Yeah, I want to just link to everything.
Motion to approve the pay table in Foxborough personnel and policy. Motion to approve the longevity pay table in Foxborough personnel and policy guide.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0-0.
Great.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, we have 7:45, we're running a little early here. Outdoor off-hours work request for demolition of Freedom Wind Tower at Patriot Place by CDC Demo and Abatement. Like to come up?
Aye.
Hello, my name is Kyle Murkowski. I'm with Patriot Place. With me is Chad Vincent, Vice President of JDC Demo and Abatement.
Okay, thank you.
Meet you.
We're seeking permission for some off-hours work due to safety reasons, due to the adjacent North End Zone Plaza and active loading dock, and just the personnel in and out of the movie theater area.
So the movie theater, though, doesn't have really direct access next to this building. It's further down.
It's pretty close. It's within 100 feet.
Okay. Is the entire structure coming down?
It is.
Okay. What did Scott?
I was just trying to get him on. Oh, there he is.
There he is. Okay.
There's Scott.
Scott, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. So what is your stance on this at this point?
Excuse me for my thinking, the previous one that we just allowed, I have no issues with it as long as that we have the noise metering monitored and I have a weekly report that I can go by. I have no issues with it. I understand what they're looking for. They were first seeking to go to 2 a.m. and I had a long conversation with Kyle and the representative of JDC, and I did not think that would be a good timeline. So they revised it to midnight, I do believe, Kyle.
That's correct.
So if Chief Grace is in favor for this, I am as well. Under those stipulations as the last one that we just issued.
So I guess the first question I have is, and I noticed in your original write-up on the last one was noise on heavy equipment. Obviously, all the equipment's required to have backup beepers, which can be a real annoyance to neighbors. In your other thing, though, you said that only heavy equipment could be used during regular working hours.
That was during, yeah, that is what our bylaws are set right now. After speaking with Kyle, they're going to have to position this crane in a spot that is going to block, and Kyle can reiterate on this more than I can. put it in a spot where it's going to impede the docking area for, I think, the Brigham's, MGBH loading dock. And as long as that's in place and it's just the crane work, that's why I'm requiring the noise readings be managed and recorded and held in a report that I can have access to if we get any complaints.
So again,
I
on
do
your,
believe the one that we just issued went to 11 o'clock. And that's how it was written up.
11 o'clock, not 12.
Yeah, not 12.
All right, and in the previous one, you also had a stipulation that if people reported noise as a complaint through the process that we've set up, that the process they would stop at that point in time and then have a meeting to discuss what the issues are. Is that your
Exactly.
requirement as well? Okay.
Yeah, yes, I would have it the same as we did with Suffolk.
Okay. Chief, do you have? First of all, have we had any issues with the current Suffolk project?
We have not.
Okay.
So the workflow process through citizens' complaints is, if we get any, either through SEMREC or through the police department business line, we immediately contact Scott or his replacement who is out. That information is on our online schedule, so all the police officers know it, all the sergeants know it. They see it every single day when they go to work, and we have had none. If that happens, Scott makes contact with the designated point of contact with the contractor. So it isn't like a business line. It's someone boots on the ground with a cell phone who can immediately address the noise issue. And we have not had any with the project, which is probably a little closer to a residential area for the practice area. I'm not sure on the sound testing on that area with the echo and the side of the building, how it will project. But Scott's comfortable with it, so I feed off of him. Somehow I issue the license, but it's at the recommendation that the workflow that Scott's worked and the work being done will fall within the parameters of being reasonable. And I assume no Sunday, right? Sunday's out.
That is
All right.
correct.
Okay. All right, I am concerned because of the location of this one, more so than the Suffolk one, which has a nice wood buffer going that way. There's less of a buffer going to the residents on North Street. So obviously, the equipment side of things is what I'm most concerned about, and the noises that they'll make. But as long as the process is in place and as long as we have a way of remedying it, I guess I can.
And we did do our 30-day review,
Yeah.
which we will put in this permit, and probably should continue the 30-day reviews, not just do one, as the projects, do we have a timeline? on how
Yeah, I was
fast
gonna say,
we
what
can
was
take this
it?
down?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say 12 weeks.
The ultimate goal is to be complete prior to the start of training camp, which is the third week in July. So July 24th is really our drop dead completion.
Okay. All right. And again, noise issue is basically because that's family neighborhoods. Kids would be sleeping, that type of thing. So that's why we're a little bit more sensitive to the issue. If it was commercial, I'd have little of any issues about it, but. Doc, do you have any?
No, other than what you've already said about the checks and balances, and I'm comfortable with that.
Deb? Dennis? Okay.
Motion to approve the outdoor off-hours work request for work to occur Monday through Saturday until the end of August 2025 for the demolition of Freedom Wind Tower at Patriot Place by JDC Demo and Abatement.
I'll second it.
Second. Oh, I'm sorry, would you like something? Discussion? Yep. Just give us your name and address and.
Hi, folks. My name's Neal Gouck. I live at 200 Reservoir Street in North Attleboro. I'm the founder and currently the chairman of the board for Freedom Wind Tunnel. I'm largely the person, the founder, entrepreneur, business owner behind this. Representing the tenant in this situation. I'm coming to you before you tonight as prepared as I can with short notice. I wasn't aware that this was being contemplated for tonight, and I understand that this has been elevated to your board because of some of the timings and things. This might have been adjudicated by another board, but nonetheless, here we find ourselves. I understand that as part of the building demolition permit, that the applicant has to indicate the location of the facility at which the debris is to be disposed. That's part of the Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 54. I haven't personally reviewed the application yet. It may or may not be in there. If asked through the chair, I think the landlord or the landlord representative in the room would likely categorize the state-of-the-art wind tunnel housed within the facility, the technology housed inside the building as debris, whereas as of Monday of this week, I've received an updated pricing proposal from my tunnel manufacturer, given tariffs, material cost escalation, shipping cost escalations. What typically had cost $4 to $5 million in 2019 for a wind tunnel has now escalated to $6.5 to over $7 million for this technology to be picked up at factories, X-Works, in various locations around the world. I've reached out on multiple occasions to the landlord to get a disposition of our personal property that's located inside the facility and still resides there now. The locks have been changed. We've been denied access. We've been told if we try and go in that it'll be trespassing. The high technology propulsion system that we have requires ongoing maintenance and services to maintain the robustness and performance characteristics of the systems itself. And as I can answer any questions that you guys have, like how we got here, then maybe that's not the right forum for this, but a trustee in the bankruptcy case that has been ongoing with this property had abandoned the wind tunnel and all the other assets at the premises back to the debtor or the tenant, in this case, Freedom Wind Tunnel. I'm here asking your board to add a condition to the demolition permit that all of the tenant's tangible personal property, including the wind tunnel, be removed in accordance with the Mass General Law 239, Section 4, which talks about the removal of property owned by the tenant. And so, in most of my adult life, I've been in the military, infantry guy. This is very complex, so I want to make it really simple and straightforward so that you could possibly potentially still take action on this tonight. I have a what and a where. I have a list of all the personal property and all the ancillary stuff that operates the wind tunnel listed clearly in a document here. I have copies for each of you. And then in accordance with the Mass General Law 239, Section 4, as the tenant, I can't pick anywhere in the world where these things ought to be sent to, but I can dictate within a 20-mile radius of the premises what public warehouses the personal property should be delivered to. And so I've done that in a letter twice now to the landlord, and it's identical to, there's five public warehouses that reside within a 20-mile radius, and I've got a list of what all the personal property is and which public warehouses I'd like this stuff to go to, okay? I know, Dennis, you said this is your last meeting. I've said quite a mouthful there, and it's a lot to take in. I live locally. I'm personally accessible. I can answer questions on this now. I can share these documents with you. I'm also available with the permission and cooperation of the landowner to tour the facility with you if you'd like to see it to better understand, like, what are we talking about here? But I, as a veteran-owned, locally owned business, have to advocate for my company and my constituents and the creditors in the bankruptcy case that the building not be destroyed with our property inside of it. That is my utmost concern. It's very valuable. It'd be very costly to replace and get another wind tunnel locally here to Foxborough, stored in public warehouses. And so, unfortunately, I only found out about this afternoon that this meeting was occurring. So again, I can maybe distribute these 2 appendixes that I have. I have 6 copies. I can give them to you. That's my narrative. I'm at the pleasure of the board.
Okay, so I guess my gut is telling me that this is a legal issue between you and the landlord, that the town really doesn't have a stake. And, you know, as far as if the landlord moves forward on something that's in violation of court order or anything like that, then obviously they have a risk on their side. But basically what we're being asked by the owner of the property is to make a move, to move forward, to continue, obviously, this to be a viable piece of property for them in the future. I don't know how we can, and I could be wrong here, but we would probably have to have legal advice on it as to whether or not we have any rights to basically insert a third party.
Well, also, they're asking you for after-hours work. They're not asking you for demo. The demo actually lives over with Scott. So this board only has to do with working after hours.
Right. And
Not whether you
has the
demolish.
demo permit hasn't been issued, I assume? It has been issued?
It has been issued, yes. This is just for after hours.
Okay.
But I agree with you, Bill. I think there's probably there's a lot of history to this, and I hate to waste to spend a lot of resources. I mean, I know that there's been a bankruptcy case, and there's been a lot that's gone on, so
Yeah.
I don't know that we want to get in the middle of that one.
Well, no, I don't think we can. Like I said, I think actually, you're making a good point. The only thing we're being asked for is after hours. If the demolition permit's already been issued, they could do it without us already. So, you know, I think if you have anything, you have injunctive rights, but you don't have a lot of time to deal with it. So I guess I would suggest that you have, legal counsel take the next steps. But as far as our side is concerned, again, it's the owner's property rights, and without any other injunction to block that, we really would have little rights to stop them. Any other thoughts, Dennis? So again, this is strictly asking for after-hours time. They've already been issued a demo permit, so you're already behind the 8 ball relative to that.
Sure. I guess my question to this board is, would you contemplate adding a condition to your approval that the property of the tenant be returned in accordance with Mass General Law?
I don't think Mass General Law, well, again, I'm not a
We'd
lawyer.
have to go through legal counsel to make sure that we could do something like that.
We don't necessarily oppose the demolition of the building. We just want to make sure it's clear and that our rights and our position is clear, that we just don't want the building being demolished with our stuff inside of it, At some point, we have to advocate and raise our hand and say, look, there's some valuable things inside that building that need to be removed. And
Hold on a second. Chief, would you mind switching them? Thank you.
I'm sure.
Just so we have a microphone. Sure.
Thanks, Chief. We are here strictly for the extended hours of the project. The demolition project has been fully approved. There's nothing really to turn back on that. There's not a legal matter in front of the board. This is strictly what's in front of the board is the extended hours. And that's what we're here for, not to debate anything beyond that. And there's really nothing to debate at this point.
I don't disagree, but without legal counsel, I wouldn't be able to
right.
affirmatively answer that.
But I mean, and again, I'm trying to manage use of our legal counsel, and I always try to do that. And I'm just thinking about it, went through this whole bankruptcy and whatnot. I can't fathom that the items in the building weren't contemplated as part of a settlement. I mean, there must have been all sorts of financials back and forth. I just think this board inserting itself in the middle of it just seems messy. And I mean, there's whole legal proceedings that have gone on that we have no party to, so.
Well, again, and I think if you have an interest in it, it's a legal interest that you need to make a move on, but beyond that, we're not your a court, basically, to be able to do that. So, just my opinion.
No, I mean, it's pretty obvious. We really have a small focus on what we got to do today. And, you know, where you have to go is way out of our purview.
Okay, I'm sorry. Motion?
Motion to approve the outdoor off-hours work request for work to occur Monday through Saturday until the end of August 2025 for the demolition of Freedom Wind Tower at Patriot Place by JDC Demo and Abatement.
Second.
All right, just a comment, that's through the end of August, but you truly believe you're going to be done nearly a month earlier?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Any other comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
400. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, I did town manager's update. Select board update.
Sign license.
License.
Sign
Oh,
license agreement. One more after
I'm sorry, yep.
7:50.
Discuss and possible vote to sign license agreement.
Okay, so I actually have some breaking news on this bill.
Breaking news.
Yes, since we met earlier. Well, just for those at home and for those who haven't been privy to it, by the way, thank you, Scott. Scott's on,
Scott, yep,
Scott's on medical leave.
Sorry,
Scott's
Scott.
on medical leave right now, so thank you so much for coming for this. We appreciate that.
Yep.
We'll see you next week.
Take care.
So, as I may or may not have mentioned at the last meeting, the folks from Walnut Knoll, the affordable senior housing project over on Walnut Street, are looking for space to run some leasing operations until their first building is open and they have space there. Apparently, it's always a good idea to have a local presence and people can come in, they have to conduct interviews, and it's a local place for people to drop off applications. We talked to them, they approached us, and we talked about, maybe since the building at the senior center will be empty, maybe, and we have also learned the hard way that to ensure a vacant building is expensive, because we had to do it for the community center, that we thought, this might be a win-win. As of today, so what we did, we worked with council, and they indicated that this would actually be eligible for a license, I believe due to the short-term nature, the fact that the town will have continued rights to access the building. I mean, they're only going to be using the lobby and a couple offices, and we'll still be able to have storage and whatnot in there. So we had council draft up a license for this. And then we started doing some research into monthly charges, what's fair, whatnot. And so we went back and forth. When I met with Bill earlier today, we had kind of reached a point where I thought the deal wasn't going to happen, that maybe what we would want to collect would be a little rich for what they really reasonably thought they could pay. But I've since received an email just now, 7/21, that says, let me just find what she wrote. Bottom line is they're willing to, we had proposed a $1,500 a month rent for the it would be May 5th through September 5th. So it's at 4 months, or maybe it's October 5th. I might have added an extra month. This has been fluid. And we came up with $1,500. Yes, it is through October 5th. I knew there was 5 months. But what the catch that caught us off guard today is we need to have an insurance policy to lease it out, of course. So that was going to cost $10,000. Right there, the money doesn't make sense. When I informed them of this, they're willing to pay for the insurance, the $10,000, and the $1,500 per month. So it sounds like a win-win for them and for us.
The only question I would have, Paige, is the insurance that we're getting covering the building in total and them liability-wise, or do they also have to have their own insurance?
The license still says, and I had said that it says that they are required, a condition of the license, licensee shall maintain during this period In no event shall the insurance coverages be less than $1 million for an individual event and $2 million in the aggregate. So they're required to carry that. They have seen it, I mean, so I assume they've priced that out and they're aware of it. So I think if you would authorize me to explore this further and see if you all would have to sign it, so it would be a matter of you to come back in, but I think, if we can make this deal, it's good for the town, it keeps our building occupied, it gives our residents a local option to do their interviews and whatnot, and it also gives, our local housing authority adjacent developer an opportunity to have a business in there, an opportunity to do their business in town.
So I think the biggest advantage to us is we know it's going to be a period of time before we can get everything out of that building. And the October timeframe is probably just about right by the time we get to lower level operational. Although it won't be operational, but we would actually be able to move our stuff out before that, because the elevator and the generator are the two that make the lower level usable. But the space will be done, so we could move stuff into it. But by the time we go through the cleanup, the advertising, the whole requirement to sell the building, you're probably in that same timeline anyway. So this could be a win-win where we're not paying extra ourselves for insuring it while it's sitting there. And we get the ability to have someone, like Paige just said, from the outside.
I think it's a great idea. I hope it works.
I do too.
Obviously, we're not doing it for a huge moneymaker, but we're doing it basically
We'll
to
get something.
get something out of it. so.
Break mostly even with, a little
Right,
bit.
yeah.
Does $10,000 seem like a lot, though, to insure that for 5
It did seem like a lot.
How long is the period of insurance?
You said it had to be
10
what?
to 12 months. That would
Oh,
go
so it's
lower
like a
than
year's worth.
Oh.
So
We get prorated back?
yeah,
if
you
we
probably do get
cancel early?
prorated back on,
If we cancel, I think it's
Before
with the
6 months?
remainder of 3 months, so we
Okay,
could
so
get
we
a
might get
little
a
bit
little
back.
yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
So I think we're good if you can finish the process to
Okay.
go forward.
Motion to approve the license agreement between Town of Foxborough and Peabody Properties, Inc. for use of 75 Central Street, Foxborough, Mass. Senior Center Building from May through September for office uses,
May through October.
Sorry.
excuse me, May through October for office uses associated with the leasing of the Walnut Knoll Housing Project.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 400.
Yeah, awesome.
Point of information?
Yes.
Pardon me, sir. If it pleases the chair, I forgot to, if it pleases the chair, I forgot to leave those documents I referenced to you all.
Please feel free to give them
Have a great
to
evening, folks.
town manager.
Thanks, Neil.
As far as select board update, I don't have anything specific. Does anybody else on the committee have?
Yeah.
Just a comment. It is my last meeting. It's culminates 6 years on the advisory committee and in the select board, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. Really dedicated, hardworking people that are unbelievably committed to the board. I've enjoyed all of it. This year was a challenging year. New town manager, 2 new people on the board. You never know how it's going to work out, frankly, when, the year starts, are we going to gel? Are we going to come together? Is it all going to work out? I think, my parting comment is I think we got a lot done this year. We had a very challenging budget, and it's going to the town meeting. We had 5 unions that had to be negotiated.
7.
Well, yeah, okay. 7?
7 went down.
Well, I'm just going to tell you.
Come on, don't cut it short.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, point is, all of the unions had to really be negotiated, and really, those have been negotiated, and they're, to my understanding, they were done in a way that preserved the, what I've seen in 6 years is really excellent labor relations here in the town of Foxborough with the people that work here. And that's been preserved. And I think it's been preserved without breaking the bank as well. So, new labor council, new auditor, MBTA communities. I mean, there was a lot on the plate this year. Community center. So I think it's been a productive year, and I'm just glad I was here and made a contribution, and I think everybody stepped up and made a contribution, so good luck. I'll be around. I might want to, be on a committee or two, because I'm not going to just go off into the sunset, but it's been a pleasure, put it that way.
It's been a pleasure, Dennis.
And I think, Dennis, for the board, obviously, we've only worked together for a year, but I give a lot of credit to anybody in town who is willing to step up to be on a board and take the responsibility, as well as the effort that's required. Each board is different as far as what's out there. Obviously, we're front and center, being on television on a regular basis, but so I thank you for your contribution. I thank your family for allowing you to contribute, and I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
Yeah, and Dennis, having worked with you for the last, 3 years, and really 6, because you were on AdCom for 3 of those also. I didn't know if I was going to bring this up under new business or old business. I'm not sure which one you'd be, but really, you've added a great deal to the board over the last 3 years, and certainly, 6 years, certainly the last 3 on this board, and your expertise and what you brought to the town with where you've worked and what you've done over the years is pretty remarkable. And we as a town are pretty lucky to have you and your knowledge over the last 6 years.
The one other thing I would say, and it's too bad our chief's left, what really sets Foxborough apart from other communities, and I've been in, other communities, is just an outstanding public safety function. You have a fire department that's all paramedics. That's unheard of across the Commonwealth. In a police department that just strives for excellence every day. So those are really, really high caliber, high quality departments with real dedicated people. And, whether it's, body cameras or whatever, they all row in the same direction. And what they do at, Gillette Stadium is phenomenal. And the responsibility there is unbelievable, and they do a great job. So I wanted to say that while they were here, but they're gone. And Jeff, you missed my speech too. So.
You can go back and watch it.
Anyway, thank you.
Thank
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you very much.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 400.